Dating apps have a very bad reputation here, but I don't think it's the dating apps' fault. It's just that the guys are using them a little bit irresponsibly for the country and the city that you're in. I got married. I got married to my girlfriend, Carolina, of 2.5 years. We've been living together about a year and a half. And this is going to shock a lot of people, right? Because of all the kind of bullshit that you hear in the newspapers and stuff like that about dating apps are killing people and they're the most dangerous thing of all time. We actually met on a dating app, not on Tinder, but on one called Bumble. If you don't know what it is, it's like Tinder. But the thing is, a lot of women prefer it because the woman has to text first. I think what a lot of women hate about Tinder and things like that is they get a match and guys sending crazy disrespectful messages and things like that and can get a bit overwhelming. But in this Bumble app, women actually have to text first. So it's a little bit less, I guess, confronting, and they feel a bit more comfortable on it. I don't think dating apps are bad. I just think that you need to be kind of use them in a different way. You can't just be sending a couple of messages and inviting someone over, because that's the way to get drugged, robbed, maybe even worse, killed, as happened to 30 people this year already. If you look at the stats of all the people that have died this year, I think it's 40, 50. Most of those people, I'd say 80% or more, it's usually guys who go on dating apps, match a woman, but instead of getting to know them, going on a normal date that a normal woman would go to, like, hey, let's go to a cafe. Hey, do you want to go to a salsa lesson? Hey, let's go to a movie. Something normal and something with a bit more self-control and patience. These guys immediately like, yo, I got a penthouse. You want to come see it? I'm rich. I'm from Miami. Whatever stupid shit that guys say. And then the woman comes over and they're like, fuck yeah, this guy's got a shitload of money and he's an idiot. So let's drug him, rob him, done. Don't do that. But if you want to be using the dating apps responsibly, like a man with self-control, trying to meet women for some type of deeper connection, it doesn't have to be, a partner forever, but at least speak to them like they're a person and go on a couple normal dates, then I wouldn't recommend Tinder. I think Tinder's pretty dodgy, but there are these other apps like Bumble that I've actually seen a lot of people find long-term relationships from apps like this. Dating apps have a very bad reputation here, but I don't think it's the dating apps' fault. It's just that the guys are using them a little bit irresponsibly for the country and the city that you're in. You can do all those things that I mentioned before in somewhere like California, maybe, I guess, Melbourne, but you can't be doing that here because that's how people take advantage of you. I recently crunched a lot of numbers about tourism and people moving to Medellin, people moving to Colombia. The video is titled How Colombia Went from War Zone to World-Class Travel Destination. From looking at these figures, it's exponential growth year on year on year on year on year, going up and up and up and up. All this stuff that was in the news, the sensationalist headlines about this dying, murdering, robbing, stealing has had no effect. It's just going up and up and up and up. The amount of people that we get wanting to move to Medellin and messaging us, wanting to buy property is just more and more and more. It's actually having no negative effect at all. So a lot of the stuff you hear, guys, I always say this a lot, like, there's 1.4 million people that came here last year. You see how many negative YouTube videos, like 30, but obviously they're the most shocking. So they get 1 million views and everybody's talking about that. And also newspapers, if they make an article about Michael comes to Medellin, has fun, goes home. That's not a news story. No one wants to read that shit. But John comes, gets drugged and robbed while trying to find love. That's a news story. Everyone's reading that. And all these newspapers, they just want clicks. They just want views. So kind of read a bit more, look into the actual facts and the stats, right? Or you can just watch my channel, because you see that every video that I release, usually I have a link in there to all the articles. You can go and read for yourself and just be educated, guys. Don't just read all this sensationalist bullshit from people just trying to get views and cry about, I got drugged and robbed, when they were doing all the dumbest shit possible. Long story short, Medellin is booming like never before, and Colombia is booming like never before as well. Like it's crazy. Peter says 40 or so gringo deaths this year. Medellin has 40,000 visitors per month. The murder rate is half what I'm used to in Detroit. Yeah, it's interesting you say that, because I also did another video, and it's a short actually on my channel. There's 35 cities in the US, no, 45 cities in the US which have worse murder per capita rate than Medellin, but no one wants to talk about that. This is the distinction that I draw sometimes. Medellin can be unsafe. I'm not going to be telling you standing here it's completely safe. You can walk around. There's certain things I do or don't do in my life that I would do quite easily back in Australia. Like, I have a camera. I would love to take that and walk in the street and vlog, but I don't do it. I will never do it because I know there's probably a chance that someone's going to steal that from me on that day. But the main distinction I draw in the US, you can just be killed for doing nothing, right? As you saw in Vegas and stuff, all those mass shootings, people just standing around, and then unfortunately they lost their life. But what I see from the tourist deaths in Medellin, especially, everybody, at least 95% of people, were doing something that they shouldn't have been doing in Medellin. I'm not saying that they were wrong. I'm just saying they shouldn't have been doing that, because there's a wealth of education about these things on YouTube, in blogs. If you just spend some time researching what you can do and what you don't, which I'm going to all these countries at the end of the year, I'm going to be reading about what I should do, what I shouldn't do. I'm not just going to be landing there and just do what I would do in Australia. These people don't spend the time being educated, and then they do things they shouldn't be doing, then they get in trouble.